I greet you in the words of Assalamu alaikum, which means peace and blessings be upon you. And I mention both Jesus and Muhammad's names. Peace be upon them both because they were both messengers of truth and reality. Say hi to the people in America, Central America, Asia, Africa, the UK, leaving somebody out, the Middle East, and Africa. I left somebody out, didn't I?
No.
Okay. I got it right this time. But you know what? I have my co-host with me, Alderman Vergil Jones, and I'm glad to say that I'm an executive producer of a blog talk radio show, but I'll let her discuss that. But please tell the people something about yourselves briefly.
Well, I was also the Democratic Ward Committeeman,
Yes, sir.
all right, which that, in my opinion, carried more weight than being the alderman because I helped to choose candidates for all of Cook County.
Yes.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and I'm happy to be here again today. That the great God, Yah, has made me and enabled me to be here
Yes, sir.
with such distinguished individuals as you and Sister Cynthia Williams.
Praise Allah. Please, and you know what? Thank you. Humbly say, thank you for allowing me to be your executive producer, your blog talk radio show. But please, let me shut my mouth and tell us something about yourself.
Well, I'm so grateful to the universe for bringing us all together, Alderman Vergil Jones and Brother Clifton Bradley. Because when I started on my journey, actually working in the vineyards as a community activist, I started with an adult literacy program. And what about that was that I had been given an aid to do that, to help to build up the community. And at this present time, I have a blog talk radio show, and that number is 646-478-0215 for those who are interested in tuning in. And in calling this number, you can call in on any cell phone or land phone. The number again is 646-478-0215. And if you want to punch in and interact, you punch 1. I just want to thank the universe for bringing my wonderful support system from Brother Clifton Bradley, who is my promoter and my producer and my tech support. I'm learning about the computer, and he actually knows so much about it. So he's there for me to receive calls and also to interact, because this is a global family that I'm talking with about so many things that needs to be done to uplift the precious ones that are around this globe, because there's so much trauma, as we well know, going on in different countries. And it's Ukraine, Islam, and Palestinian conflict. So you have people in those countries that need encouragement and an uplift. Yes, we're here in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States of America,
Yes.
but we care about people globally, as well as those that we are in, as who we are racially and culturally, as African Moorish descendant people.
Excuse me.
Yes, Cliff.
We cannot forget, we would be remiss if we did not mention your help. I mean, Mr. Michael and Mama AZ. So I say that with all due respect.
Yes.
You have something that you want to say about them? Because she's your co-host.
Yes, she is. And Mama AZ is in Arizona right now. And she's originally from High Point, North Carolina. And I met her for another show that I was doing. And I just felt the spiritual connection with her. So we started talking after that show, and we've become great friends. We're both spiritually connected. I also have a beautiful husband that has been with me from day one since I started working in the vineyards. He too cares about the community, and in high school he was told to go back, and he did. And he worked down at the Northern Trust Bank. I'll say that because he didn't have to come back to the hood, but he did. It didn't matter that he had a suit and tie on. So we both care about the community.
Yes, ma'am. The Alderman
Well,
pose a question. Okay.
I heard you say something a few minutes ago. You said the African American and Moorish community. What you mean by that?
Well, I'm educated by you to say Moorish because you educated me to that's a better terminology when you talk about labeling people. Let's talk about Moorishism as you had shared with me, because my knowledge is African, which is Africa, because that is an Italian gentleman that you told me about. Could you share that, educate me again, and maybe the audience is looking in, sir?
An Italian general named Scipius Africanus, who Hannibal the Great conquered and had him conquered for over 20 years. And then he found a way to break out of the city of Rome and chase Hannibal back to Carthage and killed his brother and killed him. And then he named what people call Africa after himself. I don't call myself an African American. I call myself a Moor, because that's what we were.
Okay. My question, yes, sir. My question is, I'm going to ask you probably one more question about Blog Talk Radio.
Yes.
But then there was something that transpired that went on in your life, and I want you to share that with the audience, to the ladies that are listening out there. What inspired you to even do a Blog Talk Radio show and do a TV show on Channel 21? Because you have enough to where you could have rolled off into the sunset and said, forget the community. What inspired you?
Well, I first of all, I recognize who I am spiritually. Always have when I came in from the other side and started living this life in the human form. So that is what's inspired me to do the journey and evolve spiritually in this container that has a certain gender and a certain color or culture or racial ethnicity. But the Blog Talk Radio show was introduced to me by another gentleman, Darnell Glover, and I must say I have a lot of respect for him because in my health challenges, I was in a coma and I went to sleep. I was already doing the other show where Alderman Vergil Jones had been on cable with me, the community services. They help those get their education. So Alderman Jones would come on, but somewhere about 7 years ago, I got sick and went to sleep. And in that coma, someone asked me, did I dream? No, I didn't dream, but there was an experience that I did have. So I will say this, that I said to the higher power, what do you want me to do now after I woke up and started recovering? And higher power said, go to this women's group. I started in 1990, south of Chicago State. So that's what I've done. I have Sisters in the Spirit, which is for women of color, African descendant women, to educate and uplift them in their spirituality, their psychology, thinking and behavior, and sociology, their history in Mother Africa or Mother Kemet.
Where do you meet at?
We meet at the Hyde Park. Yeah, it is. We meet at Hyde Park Blackstone Library once a month at 4904 South Lake Park.
Okay.
Every Saturday. Now, when I say every Saturday, let me correct myself. Once a month on Saturday from 2 to 4:30 p.m., and that's 4904 South Lake Park.
Okay.
Well, you know, you have an interesting background because you were a victim of sexual abuse.
That is true.
And yet, you survived with your right mind.
That is true. And I always say, even on my blog show, is that the thing that kept me from going insane was my knowledge of my spiritual self. As I say to you all, I remember before I was born, and I kept that to myself. So when I crossed over into this world, I'm talking to my grandmother using what they call mental telepathy. And I got very frustrated because she wasn't responding. All the people around me weren't responding. So as time went by, I realized that there was this organ called the mouth, and I began to pay attention. Children do learn by watching adults. So I started using my mouth organ to communicate, and I've been a talker ever since. But what kept me from going insane, and the beginnings of it, was that when I was on the other side, I was there in spirit form. People asked me, was I in body? No, I was not. But I kept seeing others going somewhere, and I wanted to go. And I was told, and I would use the term ascending masters, because Mama Z brought that up, that they said to me, you cannot go. It's not time. I got so-called disappointed. In an instance, it was said, it's time for you. Now, later on, as you listen to my Blog Talk Radio show, 646-478-0215, every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you will hear me talk about that whole journey of coming from the other side and being born into this world. But I said I accept the challenge. And I will say to all of you, we all come in who are here today because we wanted to come, and yes, we came to evolve spiritually.
Yeah. Can you know what the sexual abuse that transpired? Can you give us a glimpse, if it's not too painful, of how it transpired and what happened, if it's not too painful?
No, it's not painful for me now. I'm 65 Earth years now.
Okay.
And the challenges that I went through was when I came into this family, And I will share this because I want all of you to know, as a feminine, feminine person coming from the other side, the abuse that was heaped upon me was not only sexually, but physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I say, well, I chose that in order to evolve. And now I'm at a point where I help others. Now, what happened was the person who sexually abused me for years was my biological father. Yes, he did try to have intercourse with me when I got around about 11 years old. And I know that the only thing that kept me from him impregnating me, and let me share something with all of you ladies out there. I am aware of girls that have been impregnated by their fathers, let alone their uncles. I'll throw Oprah in here. Was she not pregnant by somebody that knew her mother? So these things are too common for us girls. Remember Color Purple? And what does she say? That women have to fight in order to survive in The Color Purple. And that is true for those of us who come in and are in these situations. And the only thing that kept me from going insane, becoming a prostitute, being very promiscuous, was my knowledge of my spiritual self and being guided by the ascended masters as I went down this journey. And it was very challenging. I used to cry every day. Every day as a child. And I'm talking about little girl. I'm not talking about big girl or whatever. But as I progressed through my life, knowing who I am spiritually, I had a lot of relationships with men, in a sense, very positive and healthy. Why? Because in my ability to meditate, I would always ask the universe, what's going on here, how to work with these, and not to end up hating men.
Yes.
Did you have another question from me, Cliff? Because I know you might want me to go a little further. Yes, Alderman.
Well, I wanted to say that the experience that you had, when I was a Chicago policeman, I handled many cases of aggravated sexual abuse and sexual abuse where the women were beaten and etc. So I had an affinity to that. And one of the things that I despised was men who sexually abused women, all right, because it was not necessary.
Yep.
One of the things that I'm glad about you is that you came back to try to help other people. See, most people, a bad thing happens to them, and they go into themselves and don't come back to try to help somebody else who has the same problem, but you didn't do that.
You got a question for?
And what made you do what I just said?
Well, what made me, again, is the fact that I had knowledge of myself spiritually. And let's just say the ascended masters were probably closely guiding me through this path of life. And I ended up hating my father, let me tell you. And I was trying to think of ways to kill him because of that pressure. They talk about how when a rat is cornered. So many children that go through this, they feel cornered. And I'll share this with all of you. And I do believe in life, in love, and respect, and all the good things. But when I hear about children killing people that are adults, I understand that they're going through so much pressure, and nobody is paying attention. They're not. I wasn't rescued. Oprah was fortunate that she was rescued, and many are not rescued. But I had enough spiritual knowledge and awareness, and the ascended masters, my guides, were around me to help me. So I didn't grow up hating men. I hated my father, but as I evolved and became more aware that hatred would keep me from developing, then I was able over the years to let it go. I always meditated, always, it's just part of me. And right now I'm a teacher, counselor and teacher. I use the term metaphysical, which I deal with more than just the physical. I counsel and teach adults, male and female. And I don't hate men because I learned to realize, again, that men are from the universe too. I'm the divine feminine, they are the divine male. And to look at them as brothers.
Minister Williams, wow, I mean, this is heavy. What I really want to know, there's someone that is listening to this right now that is going through something identical that you're going through, and they think that it may be my fault. I did something to make that person do that to me.
No.
What message can you convey to them, and what should they do? Well, I mean, because you get embarrassed, if I report so-and-so, he's in the family, he's outside the family, what do they do?
Well, first of all, what helped me is I was led to different support groups to deal with some of my internal issues as a result of that abuse: mental, emotional, verbal, physical, and sexual. And as I said, the common denominator was my belief in a higher power, and it had to do with spirituality. But where I am today is counselor and teacher. That's my job. That's what's been given to me. I've had people come to me that have had different problems, male and female. Even when I was a young woman, 20 years old, I had young men saying to me, Cynthia, I like talking to you.
Excuse me.
I would counsel that person.
I'm saying for the young ladies that are going through the pain, that have been traumatized.
Can they talk to you?
And they think,
yes, they can. Thank you.
And they say, you know what, I'm embarrassed. I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want to tell the police. Talk to them.
Well, you can tell me, you can call me up. This is my work, this is what I do. And you can count on me, because what you're going to say to me will be in confidence. It will be in confidence, and I'm not a gossiper. I know my role. Like I said, I'm not a young woman. I'm 65 earth years, youth in my spirit. I'm still here with all my health challenges. Let me share, I was in a coma. I woke up and the voices said to me, we're going to keep you alive. So I can't go anywhere. I really can't go anywhere. So call me. I have to finish my job as I'm here. And I want you all to call me and be a part of my counseling.
Was it their fault?
No,
Is this person that do it, is he just sick?
No, the person who did that
Is the perpetrator
is somebody that has their own mental and emotional illness. Now you want to ask, how did I end up not hating my father? I ended up taking care of my father. And you'll find that some of us who are able to grow to that level end up taking care of our abuser. Because in our ridding ourselves of the hatred, we recognize the value of life and the respect that one should have for oneself, but the other. It's a growth and development thing. And as I said to you, I went through individual counseling, and I ask all of you who are going through that, ladies, it is not your fault. And young men, it is not your fault. See, men have told me about their abuse also. So it's not just women only. There are men that have been abused. So I say it's none of our fault. As children and as beings that have come here on this earth, there is a rhyme and reason. If we can overcome, and someone like myself is here to help you, male and female, because I counsel both.
Okay, Alderman.
Well, I think you made it perfectly plain and clear. But I also say they need more men and women like you, because that's what the problem is with our young people. They don't have anybody they can talk to.
I agree with you, sir. I agree
not only
with you.
talk to, but who will listen.
Yes, yes.
You know, they talk at the young people. They don't talk to them. There's a difference. You know, I have a degree in social work, and I worked in that field for a long time, and I meet so many of the young people who I work with, who've gone on to do bigger and greater things, and they always remind me, you didn't talk at us, you listened, and you're telling me that's what you want to do with those people who need help.
Okay. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And my question is, my question to you is, you know what? There's some women that are in a situation, okay, and they may not be sexually permissive, but they walk around with their pants, all the way up and showing their breasts and all this. But if a woman says no, should it be no?
Yes, it should be no.
I'm talking about, because there are men out there that violate women. Are the women to blame for showing their buttocks and for exposing? Are the women to blame for that? To a certain extent.
Here we go.
You know, what those fashion models have made. I have seen women walk in shoes that with heels so skinny they can't even walk. Okay, but I'm using that as an example.
I want to help Sister Cynthia.
Oh.
It's just like the women and the men wearing their pants halfway down. They don't know the history, all right? of that stuff derived from slavery, all right? When the slave master violated the woman, he wanted to make sure that she had no more self-esteem. The young men wearing their pants halfway down their behinds, the slave master not only slept with women, he also slept with men and boys. And he made them wear their pants halfway down so the next slave master who wanted to be involved with them would see them with their pants halfway down and knew they didn't have to fight with them.
So, I mean, what is your view about that? Is the woman responsible to a certain degree because of what she wears to attract attention? And
No,
then when
no,
she
she's
says no, doesn't mean no,
It
even
should.
though she's exposing herself like that.
Well, having experienced being raped twice in my life as a grown woman, I never wore my clothes like that. And there are incidents where you have men that take advantage of women. It's about that rape is about power, and that's very true. When I was first raped, it was my insurance man. And at that time, they would come to your house to pick up their premium or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this one man, he would come and pick up the premium, and he would start what they call hitting on me. I guess they still use that term. And he wanted to deal with me, and I didn't want to deal with him, you know. And so, and I had my daughter at that time, and so she was around. This might say she was about, say, 4 years old. So he kept hitting me. I said, no, I don't want to go out with you, because I felt his vibration of aggression. And unfortunately, I didn't think I had enough that when I let him the next time, because they do take advantage, he attacked me and he raped me right there in my house. But my daughter was in the other room, and I was trying to get him off of me, and I was frightened that he would do something to her. So I gave in, and I just felt so bad. You really feel like you did something wrong. And I wasn't dressed any kind of way other than regular. And did I tell anybody at that time? That was in the early 70s. And there was not that progressive thinking, for that type of situation to be rectified when a woman has been raped by a man. So what I did was, did I keep quiet? Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Ask you this quick question because we're running out of time.
Yes.
There is a man right now looking at this show that is raping his daughter, thinking about raping his daughter right now. I feel it. Can you convey a message to him?
As you ask me the question right now,
talk to him.
I've had men call me and tell me, one man called me and told me he was having sex with his daughter. And I listened to him.
Okay.
And at this point in time, I will be very honest with you, Cliff.
Can you convey a message to him?
I don't know, but I can say to you,
please,
it's not right. It's not right because you're destroying that girl. If she has no real reality check on her spirituality, she's going to end up feeling low self-esteem and go out into the world with a misunderstanding of herself, first of all. Because girls need fathers. They need male examples to help them feel good about themselves as a female. You're wrong for what you're doing. Stop it.
Well, I believe, sister, you're 100% right. I believe that they should have Sharia law. You know what that is?
What is that?
Sharia law is a law from Islam.
It's Islamic law.
And the penalty for rape is death.
Woman compliance.
There ain't no other ifs, ands, and buts. And when men know that the penalty for rape is death, I'll guarantee you it will drop yesterday.
Sharia law. Hey, I'm singing to the choir, but he's not
point
interviewing me. But but you know what? I gotta highlight. You know what? I got to ask you.
Yes.
When does your show come on? And we got to say the telephone number just one more time. And that may have been a message that you wanted to convey to the people that me and Alderman did not ask you. So please.
Well, look, what I would want you to know is the show comes on every Saturday for 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Chicago time. And the phone number on any cell phone or land phone is 646-478-0215. 646-478-0215. And my beautiful tech support, my promoter, my producer is sitting right here, Brother Clifton Raheem Bradley. And I'm so appreciative of him. and what he is doing to help me to move forward in evolving and helping others to lift up to their spiritual identity. I am divine and so are you. We're spirit, soul, and body. And I'm here to help you with counseling and teaching on an individual level.
Okay.
So call in.
Okay. Sorry, we ran out of time. And Dr. Lee Warren, she wants you on the show. So please give us a telephone call, a plum. But I got to say thank you for appearing on Underground Railroad TV show. And my co-host say he's awesome.
Yes,
Just
he is.
says Google it up. And
Yes, he is.
hey, man, we need to patent them words.
No, I told you, I don't know nothing.
I want to say assalamu alaikum to everybody. Watch the Underground Railroad every Saturday night at 10:30. And you know what? You can see me and the alderman on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You get the opportunity. What is your YouTube channel? Tell us the name of your YouTube channel.
Well, my YouTube just goes under my name, Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, Minister Cynthia Marie Williams. And I have a canned TV show every Thursday from 4:30 to 5 o'clock p.m. every Thursday on Channel 21, Cable Comcast.
Okay, Cable Comcast. So you got anything you would like to say, Alderman? You got 2 minutes left.
No, only thing I want is for people to practice peace, truth, freedom, and love.
Yes.
And if they practice that, they will bring about justice.
And I will say this to the people out there that's going through Ramadan. It may be over. It's going to come again. Ramadan Mubarak to you. And please strive to get through. And I always sympathize. Always pray for the brothers in Palestine right now that are suffering from the people that are suffering from what the Zionists, I can't call them the Jews, the Zionists are doing it is they're dropping bombs on them. And they may not be doing it now, but they did it at some point in history because this may be seen later on. Okay, so I want to say assalamu alaikum to everybody. I want to thank you, Minister Williams, and Michael, and Mama AZ. Can't leave out Mama AZ.
That's right. Thank you for asking me to come on. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.